Welcome to Evolving Into Her. I'm Ashley Hope, and this is your weekly check-in to get out of your head, into your body, and back into alignment with the version of you who's already living the vision. So grab your favorite cup of tea, settle in, and let's get into the show. Hey girl, hey, and welcome to yet another Sunday edition of Evolving Into Her. I'm your host, Ashley Hope. And you know the deal. Go ahead and settle in with me for a moment. Allow yourself to exhale if you need to. If you're at home, maybe this is the moment when you finally just sit down with your coffee instead of carrying it from room to room and having to reheat it over and over and over. Girl, I know you. I know how you roll. Sit down and enjoy your coffee. If you're in the car, unclench your jaw. Drop your shoulders, taking a deep breath and just allow your belly to expand. Give me an audible exhale. It feels good, right? Just give yourself permission to just be here with me. Okay, first things first. Let's get into the church announcements, okay? In true Sunday fashion. We have officially reached over 100 ratings on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I asked you guys to rate the show, and this was a personal goal of mine. I want to hit 100 ratings on both platforms before the end of the year, and we did that. You did that. We did that. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And y'all continue to show up. Y'all rate the show. You leave me reviews. You comment on Spotify. You share it with the people you care about. All of that matters so much to me. That's you pouring right back into this space. And I do not take that lightly. I do not take that for granted. This podcast is really something we're building together. So thank you for trusting me, for growing right alongside with me, and for letting this space support you in your journey. And because I am a woman of my word, as promised, I'll be dropping a special session on Tuesday called Pack Light. And yes, it's an ode to the queen, Miss Badu. Okay. It's a release session and you can return to it anytime you feel heavy, cluttered, overwhelmed, or out of alignment. This is something I usually reserve for private community, but this one is my gift to you as a thank you for pouring right back into me. Baby, podcasting is not easy, especially weekly podcasting, especially doing 2 episodes a week, being consistent, even though it's just audio only. Baby, it is a beast. And I'm a one-woman show. So I appreciate everything that you guys pour back into me. It really helps keep me going. And I'm honored to offer this Pack Light session for you. Make sure you're following the show and you're subscribed so it lands right in your feed and you don't have to look for it. You could always reference it later. So today's Sunday chat is kind of a preface to tomorrow's session, and I'm just going to talk about packing light. It's the end of the year. We are entering a new season. So many of us are setting intentions for the upcoming year. So many of us are praying for more. We're praying for more clarity, more peace, more alignment, more confidence, better relationships. We're praying for divine partnership. We're praying for soul sisters, soul family. We're praying for a deeper sense of purpose, for new jobs, for business increase, financial increase. We're asking God for direction, for confirmation, for blessings, for all the things. And what I know for sure, okay, is that sometimes the delay that we're experiencing, it has less to do with timing and more to do with capacity. Let that one marinate, percolate in your spirit a little bit, okay? Do you have the capacity to receive what you are praying for? And I'm going to take it a step further. Once you receive it, do you have the capacity to steward it well in alignment with God's will? Do you have the capacity to multiply it so that your overflow can fill up someone else's cup and be a blessing to them as well? Because usually your blessing is not just for you. So let me put this plainly, sister. When your hands are full, especially of things, of situations, of relationships that are not in alignment anymore, maybe they were in alignment in one season, but that season may be over. That season may have expired and you're still holding on to it. When your hands are full, receiving becomes difficult. And I'm not just talking about, the physical or material things, even though, they have their place too, they matter. I'm talking about what we're holding on to out of habit, out of fear, out of loyalty, out of scarcity, out of comfort, old versions of ourselves, old relationship patterns, old coping mechanisms, old beliefs about who we are and what we're allowed to want. Because to be very honest, sometimes what you're praying for is already close. It's just around the corner. It's in your orbit already. And I did an episode about this. Go back to episode 10 if you haven't heard it already. It's titled, What's for You May Already Be Here, Sis. Train your mind to see it. And I briefly touch on this. But like I was saying, what you're praying for, what you've been setting intentions for, it may already be in your vortex, in your frequency, in your orbit. Like I said, just around the bend. So that opportunity, the clarity you've been seeking, the shift, the breakthrough, the miracle, the divine partner. But baby, closed, clenched hands make it harder to receive the thing, to receive the experience, to receive the relief, to receive the peace, to receive the expansion. So gripping to what's familiar can block what's next, what's being prepared for you. So when we talk about packing light, what we're really talking about is creating space in your life, creating space in your mind, creating space in your energetic field, because whether you believe it or not, energy is real. Creating space in your relationships. How can you call in soul tribe, soul family, aligned, healthy, reciprocal sisterhood, and you got these dusty girlfriends that aren't good to you? They're not healthy relationships. You feel like you have to shrink yourselves when you're around them. There's no room for healthy relationships to come into your life. If you're in this situationship, this man don't want to commit to you, but you want healthy, happy, whole, fulfilling partnership, monogamous partnership. This man can't give it to you. So stop texting back, Dustin. Stop texting back, Brandon, who can't commit. Stop texting back, Mike, who can't plan a date. Okay? So packing light essentially means you're creating space for God to move on your behalf. Because at the end of the day, you got free will, baby. God gave you free will, and it's a blessing, but it can block your blessings at the same time. And just trust that every prayer you sent up carries weight from the moment it left your lips. So the life you're calling in, the experiences you're asking for, the opportunities you're believing for, the relationships you want to steward differently this time around, all of that requires you to make room, which means you got to meet God halfway. Okay? Release creates capacity to receive. So when your days are packed with things that drain you, that aren't in alignment, that give you this illusion of being productive, that give you this illusion of feeling busy, there's very little margin for something to come through that could really change everything, that could change your whole life. There's no room for it to make it to you. And so when your mind is crowded with these old narratives, this fear, this scarcity mindset, the clarity you've been praying for, it becomes harder to recognize when it arrives, especially if you're expecting it in a different package or you're expecting a very specific outcome. You won't even recognize the blessing when it comes. So letting go creates movement, okay? Movement toward this clarity that you've been praying for, to get out of this fogginess and this worry and maybe the overthinking and this confusion. Letting go creates this movement towards alignment, towards flow, towards more ease. It creates this movement towards opportunities that don't require you to force your way into them or hustle your way into them, grind your way into them. Letting go creates movement towards relationships that feel mutual and safe and expansive and reciprocal. Letting go creates movement towards blessings and miracles that arrive with ease. And it's kind of counterintuitive, but sometimes the miracle doesn't come through something new showing up. Sometimes it comes through subtraction, through what leaves, through what no longer has access to you, through what you finally stop carrying. I'm believing for that now. I just had to make a really hard decision and release something this past week. And when I tell you, I feel like this was a breakthrough. I feel like a miracle's on its way. I feel like 2026 is going to be such an amazing year because I let go. So just know I'm over here walking the walk with you. This is not theory for me. I am walking this thing out just like you guys are. So when I talk about packing light, I am talking about creating space, creating room for the prayers you've already prayed to take shape in your real life. Space for the woman you're becoming to fully arrive, space for what's next, for what's being prepared for you, space for it to become your experience in real life, to come to fruition in real life. And so I want to walk you through some practical, approachable, doable ways you can start packing light today and start making space right now. Not next week, not someday, not once everything is figured out, but in this moment. Okay, so first, make space physically. And this one may seem small, but it carries a lot of weight. Making space physically can affect you mentally, physically, energetically, spiritually. So don't take it lightly. So you can start with one space, not your whole house, not your entire closet. Start with one drawer. That junk drawer in the kitchen. Everybody got that junk drawer, okay? The middle console of your car, the glove box, a small section of your closet. And as you clear it out, move slowly and do it with intention. I want you to actually touch what's there. And you can ask yourself, do I use this? Do I need this? Does this support the life I'm living now? Does it support the life that I'm creating? And I'm sure you know this, but physical clutter holds energy. And so when you clear space around you, your body will respond. You'll notice that your nervous system will start to soften. Your mind feels lighter. Your spirit registers the shift. And it's really just a signal that says, okay, I'm ready for something new to move in. Number 2, release what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. This one is difficult, but you got to do it, okay? You got to take that assessment. Some things remain in our lives simply because they once made sense. In one season, maybe it was aligned, but you got to reassess this, okay? This could include old routines, old roles we're playing, old expectations we've been carrying for years, old relationships. Growth changes your shape. And when your shape changes, certain things no longer fit the same way. So it's like, okay, yeah, maybe last year you and Brandon did fit together. Okay, y'all were both square, a perfect match. But you've been doing the work. You've been evolving. You've been expanding. You've been growing. You've been releasing. Baby, you an octagon now. And Brandon's still a square. It doesn't fit. It's not going to match. So you've got to release what is no longer aligned and be honest about it. If the season is done, it's done and it's okay. Outgrowing something doesn't make you inconsistent. It just means you're honest with yourself. And so choosing alignment over this familiar situation, this familiar relationship, this familiar experience, creating alignment over that creates room for who you're becoming to fully arrive without squeezing herself into spaces that no longer support her. Okay. Third, take inventory of your relationships. This kind of ties into what I was previously saying. And this really starts with awareness. And I'll take you back to what I always say. Awareness is a beautiful gift, but awareness can also be painful because awareness, there's a call to action behind that. Once you know, you can't be walking around here and moving like you don't know. So pay attention to how you feel during and after certain interactions. Notice where you feel energized and where you feel depleted, or you may feel drained after being with certain people, where you feel safe to be yourself, where you feel the need to perform or shrink or explain. Sometimes the space you need comes from simply telling yourself the truth, being honest with yourself. Is this season over? Has it run its course with the friend, with the family member, with the situationship, the relationship, whatever? But that clarity loosens the attachment a little. And once you see clearly, release happens more naturally. It happens with a little more ease because when you know better, you tend to do better. All right. Fourth, clear the mental clutter. And I know this is going to be a hard one for a lot of people because women especially, we love to stay in the head. It's safe there. We love to ruminate. We love to overanalyze. We love to spin our wheel. And so many of us carry beliefs that were handed to us, that we absorbed over time, or that we formed in seasons of survival. And so you may have these recurring thoughts like, I'm behind. I should have it all figured out by now. If I slow down, I'll miss my chance. So here's how I want you to interrupt those thoughts, okay? Write those thoughts down. Look at them on paper. And when you write them down, ask yourself, does this sound like God's voice? Does this sound like the voice of my higher self? Does this sound like the Holy Spirit? Or does this sound like fear? Does it sound like limiting beliefs? Does this sound like the voice of maybe my mother, maybe my father, maybe that auntie or that teacher who did not know how to speak life into me? So in this process, you're just questioning the narratives that are running your life, that are running around in your head, and questioning it creates room for peace and discernment and trust to move in. And fifth, I want you to practice surrender daily. And I know some of y'all are thinking, Ashley, I've been hearing about surrender most of my life, especially us with a Christian background. That's all they tell us to do is surrender. But what does that actually look like? What does it feel like? It feels arbitrary. Everybody talks about it, but they don't really talk about how to do it. And I'm going to give you just the first step. You don't need a ceremony. It could really sound like, God, I release what I can't control today. Lead me. And that's it. Okay. You meet God halfway and you have the willingness to surrender and let go and allow him to do the rest. And when you do this, you really lighten the load that you were never meant to carry alone anyway. It's like putting it at God's feet. Like, God, I'm willing to let it go. Show me, lead me, guide me, make it plain, make it clear. And I want you to walk away with this: open hands, open hands, open hands. Okay. Open hands create space for guidance, for clarity, for blessings, for miracles. Open hands. So sister, as you move through the rest of your day, carry this with you. My girl, Erykah Badu, said it best in Bag Lady. Pack light. Okay. Not in just what you carry physically, but in what you keep holding emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Heavy bags just slow you down. Heavy bags just slow the journey. And you deserve to move forward with ease. Okay. Packing light starts with a willingness to let go, a willingness to loosen your grip, a willingness to surrender, a willingness to clear a little space, to make room, to trust that what you're releasing is making room for what you've already been praying for. And remember, you don't have to overhaul your whole life. Start with one drawer, with one thought, with one boundary, with one choice to put something down. And so just know that each small release creates room for clarity, for peace, for alignment to become your experience. And remember, the Pack Light session I am releasing on Tuesday is something you can come back to anytime, not just at the end of the year, not just during big transitions. Anytime life starts lifing or it starts to feel heavy and you feel that nudge to release again, because you should make release a practice. Before you go, one last thing. If there are topics you want me to cover in 2026 and beyond, I would love to hear from you. I read every single comment on Spotify. Go to an episode, leave a comment, share what you want support around. And if it aligns, I will try to cover it. Sister, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for rating, reviewing, sharing, growing right alongside with me. This truly is a reciprocal relationship, and I'm excited about what we're co-creating together. I hope you enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you on Tuesday for our community release session. Make sure you hit follow or subscribe so that it shows up in your feed. I am Ashley Hope, and until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming. I'm Ashley Hope, and you've been listening to Evolving Into Her. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for choosing her, for choosing yourself. And until next time, stay in devotion to your becoming.